Welcome to Emotions and Stories. Sometimes we want some moments in our life to be grand and full of jazz, but what we don't realize is that it's the simple moments which actually turn into memories of a lifetime. Our today's story is about one such event. So let's begin the story, simple yet memorable. Sudhir had been in love with Jaya for as long as he could remember. They had met as teenagers, bonding over late night study sessions and a shared love for obscure indie music. Over the years, their friendship had blossomed into something so deep and unshakable that Sudhir was certain it was the foundation of a lifelong partnership. Now, as they both navigated their 20s, Sudhir had finally mustered the courage to turn their friendship into something more. He had spent weeks planning the perfect proposal. Jaya deserved the best after all. But little did Sudhir know his elaborate plans were about to turn into comedy of errors. Sudhir's first plan was a grand cinematic proposal in a hot air balloon. Jaya loved sunsets and he thought there could be nothing more romantic than floating above the city as the sky turned shades of blue and pink. He rented the balloon, organized a bouquet of her favorite flowers, and even hired a violinist to be in the basket with them. On the day of the proposal, he could barely contain his excitement as they boarded the balloon. But as they ascended, Jaya looked increasingly uncomfortable. This is high, she said, clutching the edge of the basket. You're not afraid of heights, are you? Sudhir asked nervously. I didn't think I was. Jaya replied, her face absolutely pale. As the balloon climbed higher, Jaya's discomfort turned into panic. She clung to Sudhir's arm, her eyes squeezed shut, and remembering all the gods possible. The violinist, unsure of what to do, kept playing, but the sound only seemed to add to Jaya's anxiety. Sudhir, I can't do this, she said, her voice shaking. Realizing the proposal would have to wait, Sudhir quickly signaled the pilot to descend. Once they were back on solid ground, Jaya laughed shakily and said, that was quite an adventure, her color slowly returning. Sudhir managed a weak smile, his grand plan in shambles now. But determined not to give up, Sudhir moved to plan B, a public proposal at Jaya's favorite cafe. He recruited the cafe staff to help decorating the place with fairy lights and pictures of their memories together. He even arranged for a flash mob to perform on Jaya's favorite song. On the big day, Jaya arrived, visibly touched by the decorations. Sudhir could see her eyes light up and felt a surge of confidence. The flash mob started their routine, drawing the attention of everyone in the cafe. But then the disaster struck. One of the dancers accidentally knocked over a tray of drinks, which spilled onto Jaya's lap. As she gasped in surprise, another dancer tripped, bumping into the table and sending a vase of flowers crashing to the floor. The chaos left Jaya drenched and flustered. Sudhir rushed to her side, stammering apologies. Jaya managed to smile despite the mess and said, It's okay, Sudhir. Her tone kind but clearly frazzled. Once again, Sudhir's plan had backfired. But Sudhir wasn't about to give up. He decided to go simpler for his third attempt. He planned a quiet picnic at their favorite park, complete with Jaz's favorite snacks and a cozy blanket, along with a bouquet of daisies. He figured this low key setting would avoid the pitfalls of his previous plans. On the day of the picnic, the weather was perfect. The sun was shining, the air was crisp, and Sudhir felt hopeful for the first time in days. But as they settled on the blanket, a sudden gust of wind blew away the bouquet, scattering the petals everywhere. Jaya laughed as she chased after them, but Sudhir felt his confidence faltering once again. Just as he was about to pull out the ring, a curious dog bounded over, sniffing at their food and knocking over the picnic basket. Sudhir tried to shoo away the dog, but it grabbed a sandwich and ran off, leaving the basket in a disarray. Jaya burst out laughing. This is the most interesting and eventful picnic I've ever been to, she said, wiping tears of laughter from her eyes. Sudhir once again sighed. The moment was ruined yet again. He put the box back in his pocket, wondering if he was doomed to fail. That evening, Sudhir walked Jaya home feeling defeated. She had been cheerful throughout the day, but Sudhir couldn't help but feel like he had let her down. As they reached her door, Jaya turned to him. Her expressions were soft and she said, "Sudhir, can we talk for a minute?" Of course, he said, bracing himself for what he feared might be a conversation about how he had been acting so strange lately. But instead of that, Jaya reached into her bag and pulled out a small box. I've been carrying this around for a while, trying to find the right moment, she said, her voice trembling, a little hesitant. I've been overthinking it, but after today, I've realized something. Sudhir stared at her, confused. What do you mean? Jaya took a deep breath and said, "You don't need grand gestures or perfect moments to tell someone that you love them. Sometimes simple is enough." And she opened the box to reveal a small platinum ring. Sudhir's heart stopped. Jaya, I love you, Sudhir, she said, her eyes shining with love. I have for a very long time, and I don't know if this is the right way to do this, but will you marry me? For a moment, Sudhir was too stunned to speak. And then he laughed, a deep, joyful sound that bubbled up from his chest. "You have no idea how much I love you," he said, pulling the ring from his pocket and showing it to her. "I've been trying to ask you the same thing all week." Looking at the ring, Jaya gasped and they both burst into a laughter. In that quiet moment, on the front door of her apartment, they exchanged rings and promises, their love reaffirmed by the simplicity of the moment. Years later, when they told the story of their engagement, Sudhir would always say, "I tried so hard to make it grand and perfect, but Jaya showed me that love doesn't need perfection. It just needs honesty." And Jaya would add with a smile, "Sometimes all it takes is a little courage and a lot of laughter. I hope you enjoyed today's story, and if you've had some such moments of joy in your life, do share with us in the comments. Thank you.